A new perspective right now. Bill Smullen, a frequent guest of ours on CBS5. He's the Director of National Security Studies at Syracuse University. Thanks for coming in, sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
I say it every time. I wish we could have you in for some good news, but that's apparently not where your expertise is. So let's start with the situation involving this now deceased gunman. He was discharged from the military, not a dishonorable discharge, which we hear a lot about, for bad conduct. What does that mean?
Bad conduct means that you've done something very serious. Typically, it's a violent act against someone, and you are typically court-martialed. He was confined for a year. So that tells everyone in the military that in the Air Force, in his case, he's a bad actor. You don't need him anymore. So he's discharged under very serious conditions.
So it's worse than dishonorably discharged?
Yes, it is worse than that. And he should have been, in my view, put on a watch list. What I mean by that is wherever he was living, and he lived in several places, law enforcement in those communities should have known this is a bad actor. Keep an eye on him.
We don't have something in place like that right now?
There are no safeguards like that now.
So you can get kicked out of the military for doing something worse than what would get you a dishonorable discharge, and there's no tracking system in place. That you move to a community A, community B, wherever, and apparently buy weapons, and that's all okay.
And the other thing that he didn't have was the ability to have any kind of mental health service, because when you're discharged for bad conduct, you don't have those rights under the Veterans Administration. So he couldn't go to a VA hospital if he was feeling that he needed some kind of help. There was no outreach capability on his part.
Should we fix that too?
We could fix that, but you'd have to change the law, you'd have to change the rules, and chances are you're not going to do that.
Because you're sending a message to somebody, get out of the military, you're not worthy of being one of us, and then you're kind of kicking this person to the curb, really.
There are over 2 million veterans who are going to VA hospitals or have gone to them for mental health services since 2002. Afghanistan took us in that direction, PTSD, whatever the case might be. So you can go into a VA hospital and say, I'm not doing well, I need help, and can get it. Kelly could not have gotten that same help because of his bad behavior.
He was sending text messages that morning, apparently, to his mother-in-law, who he obviously had beef with or thought he had beef with. We learn all this stuff after the fact, which always seems to be so nerve-wracking. Are we doing a good enough job reacting in the moment to things?
I don't believe we are, and I don't believe that we are sensitive to the fact that it can happen anywhere, to anyone, at any time. A person acting out, in this case, a mass shooting. We just need to, first of all, have more safeguards. We need to be more vigilant, and we need to be more aware that as a society, we've got a cancer growing here, and we need to operate on that cancer in a way that we can reduce the numbers of bad things that are happening in our society.
So if there's a family member that we're all sort of concerned about and they start acting out via text message, should my mind immediately now go to, this could end like this, and I've got to do something now to, do you know what I'm getting at?
Sure.
Are we supposed to go all the way to this extreme as the first thought in our mind when somebody's acting in a way that we don't believe is normal?
You should tell someone. The problem is the mental health bars in our society are so high. You can't just commit someone without their willingness to be committed. They have to either be harmful to themselves, suicide, or harmful to others, homicide, in order to be able to commit one to an institution.
We had a lot of conversations to have on a national level, it seems. Bill, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
Michael.
it
You're
very
welcome.
much.